Hello, and welcome to Once Upon a Time in Black History. I am your host, Tamara Shiloh, author, educator, and owner of the Multicultural Bookstore in Richmond, California, and Las Vegas, Nevada. You can also find us on my website at onceuponatimeInBlackHistory.com. Our shows are sponsored by the Multicultural Bookstore, and if you're interested in becoming a sponsor, please send me an email at tamarashiloh@gmail.com. Alrighty then, let's get this party started. Hello, welcome to Once Upon a Time in Black History, the podcast where we uncover the inspiring lives, achievements, and contributions of Black people who helped shape our world. I'm your host, Tamara Shiloh. Before we begin, please remember to visit the Multicultural Bookstore and Gifts online at multiculturalbookstore.com. Today, we are traveling back to the early days of the recorded blues to meet a musician whose powerful voice, brilliant guitar playing, and unforgettable songs helped define an entire musical tradition. His name was Blind Lemon Jefferson. Although many details of his life remain uncertain, his influence on American music is undeniable. Blind Lemon Jefferson was born in rural Freestone County, Texas, near the small community of Wortham. Even his exact birth date is disputed. Census records suggest that he was born on September 24th, 1893, while he listed October 26, 1894, on his World War I draft registration. He was the son of Alec Jefferson and Clarissa Banks Jefferson, who were sharecroppers. He was blind, or nearly blind, from an early age. Historians do not know exactly what caused his blindness or how much vision he may have had. What is clear, however, is that he developed an extraordinary ability to hear, remember, and create music. As a teenager, he began singing and playing guitar at churches, picnics, parties, country gatherings, and street corners. At that time, musicians who traveled from place to place performing blues, spirituals, folk songs, and dance tunes were often called songsters. Lemon grew out of this Texas songster tradition, and he created a sound that was truly his own. His high, powerful voice could rise, fall, cry, shout, and stretch across nearly 2 octaves. His guitar playing was equally remarkable. He used quick single-note runs, unexpected pauses, complicated rhythms, and musical phrases that seemed to answer his singing. Around 1912, he began performing regularly in Dallas, especially in the lively, deep Ellum was a center of Black business, entertainment, and nightlife. Its streets were filled with clubs, cafes, theaters, stores, workers, travelers, and musicians. Lemon often performed near the corner of Elm and Central Avenue, playing for anyone willing to stop and listen. In Dallas, he met another future blues legend, Huddle Ledbetter, better known as Lead Belly. The two musicians performed together in Dallas and throughout parts of East Texas. Lead Belly later recalled learning from Lemon, whose music and growing reputation made him one of the best-known street performers in the region. By the mid-1920s, record companies had discovered that there was a large market for recordings by Black musicians. Imagine that. These recordings were called race records. And were marketed mainly to African-American customers. In 1925, a talent scout connected Lemon with Paramount Records. He traveled to Chicago, where his first records were released in 1926. He quickly became one of the earliest country blues musicians to reach a national audience. This was a major accomplishment. At the time, record companies often preferred blues singers who performed with pianists or jazz bands. Didn't matter because Lemon proved that a solo Black musician, accompanied only by his guitar, could sell records throughout the country. Over the next several years, he recorded dozens of songs. His best-known recordings included Matchbox Blues, Black Snake Moan, One Dime Blues, Tin Cup Blues, and See That My Grave Is Kept Clean. He also recorded two spiritual songs under the name Deacon L.J. Bates. His songs told stories about love, loneliness, poverty, travel, imprisonment, hard luck, humor, desire, and death. His lyrics could be sorrowful one moment and playful the next. He did not simply repeat the same musical pattern from song to song. He changed keys, rhythms, tunings, and guitar techniques. Sometimes he left dramatic spaces between his vocal lines. At other times, he filled those spaces with rapid bursts of guitar notes. His success brought him a degree of financial independence that few Black country musicians enjoyed during the 1920s. However, success did not protect him from the racism, segregation, and exploitation faced by Black performers. Record companies frequently paid musicians far less than the money their recordings generated, and reliable records of Jefferson's earnings are limited. Blind Lemon Jefferson's life ended suddenly in Chicago in December 1929 when he was only in his 30s. The exact circumstances of his death remain a mystery. What historians can say with confidence is that he died in Chicago and that his body was returned to Texas. He was buried in what was then called Wortham Negro Cemetery for decades. His grave remained unmarked. In 1967, a Texas historical marker was placed in his honor. 30 years later, a granite headstone was added to his gravesite. The cemetery was eventually renamed the Blind Lemon Memorial Cemetery. Although Jefferson's recording career lasted only about 4 years, his influence continued for generations. Texas blues musicians such as Lightning Hopkins, T-Bone Walker, and Mance Lipscomb carried elements of his style forward. His songs were later performed by musicians in blues, country, folk, and rock music. Matchbox Blues helped inspire later versions by Carl Perkins and the Beatles. See That My Grave Is Kept Clean was recorded by artists including Bob Dylan and B.B. King. Jefferson also helped change the music business. His popularity demonstrated that rural African American blues had a national audience. His success opened doors for other solo blues singers and guitarists to enter recording studios and preserve their music. Today, Blind Lemon Jefferson is frequently called the father of Texas blues. He was inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame in 1980. Thank you again for joining me for this episode of Once Upon a Time in Black History. I'm your host, Tamara Shiloh, and please remember to visit the Multicultural Bookstore and gifts at multiculturalbookstore.com. Until next time, keep learning, keep sharing our stories, and keep Black history alive. Thank you for tuning in to Once Upon a Time in Black History. For more information on this topic and others, visit the Multicultural Bookstore at multiculturalbookstore.com. And again, if you want to advertise in our podcast for a mere $25, please contact me at tamarashiloh@gmail.com. See you next time.